Solidarity is rising up to the Thuma Mina challenge. The trade union has offered to use its extensive network to lure expat South African engineers back home to come and help fix Eskom. Their condition for this assistance is that those found guilty of wrongdoing at the power utility should face justice. Solidarity is also calling for a judicial commission of inquiry into the collapse of Eskom. And the terms of reference of that commission should allow for its findings to be referred to the NPA for prosecution. Solidarity's head of research, Connie Mulder, joins me now. Good evening, Connie. Thanks very much for your time. Is it just, let's start with the whole skills bank thing, where you're saying that the engineers and technicians will register on your database and you'll be offering these people. Is it your view that Eskom needs engineers and technicians?
It's our view and the view of Minister Gordon that one of the major critical problems facing Eskom is a massive skills shortage as well as a lack of morale. Now, we've seen Eskom skills being depleted this past 10 to 20 years with a systematic, just a much too quick phasing in of new people. They've lost institutional knowledge, they've lost several skills. So we're saying Eskom is too important for this country. We cannot sit in the dark and for some reason allow politicians to run it. So we're asking for the skills bank, for engineers, for anybody who worked at Eskom who wants to come back and keep the lights on, to sign up to the skills bank. We will then hand over this database of skills to Minister Gordon and tell him, here are South Africans willing to help. Here are South Africans willing to restore this company to just keep the lights on in South Africa, because that's our main problem at the moment is, as a public, we've been battered by load shedding. We've had phase 4 this past week. Businesses won't survive this. South Africa as a country is teetering on the edge with our power supply utility not being able to just plain keep the lights on.
You don't think the utilities' key problems have got to do with the kind of leadership they had right at the top, with corruption that came with those people, whether they were in cahoots with the crooks or whether they were sleeping?
Well, obviously corruption played a role, but corruption thrives where skills disappear. You don't have people who know how to have an overview over these things. You don't have people who know how to follow the processes, and then the crooks get away with it. And that's why we need people back, because in the end, maintenance is the basic thing that's not been done at Eskom, and that's why we have several units gone down because of maintenance. And maintenance is done by people at ground level in power plants who make sure that these power plants are still running. So
but the point I'm making is that you can have the best engineers and technicians in the world, but if they are being ordered or summoned to either do the wrong things or do nothing at all, then that's not going to help anybody.
Well, that's, I'm with you. The corruption definitely played a role, and that's why we're saying we want these people back. At the moment, Eskom's main problem is a skill shortage, and this is Mr. Gordon himself admitted there's low morale, they've lost several skills, and there's massive issues with the procurement process as well. So we're saying we're going to try and get the skills back. We're going to try and get the people who can maintain these power plants to come back. We know of several of our members who are now building power plants in the Philippines and in Dubai. That's knowledge that we should be using in South Africa, that we should be applying in South Africa to benefit our country. And these people are applying 30 years of institutional knowledge in other countries. We paid for that with tax money. We want those people back. But if these people come back, we need to be assured that justice will be served to the people who've crippled Eskom. So we're saying what we want is we want a commission of inquiry specifically for Eskom, but one with teeth, where we can finally stamp out exactly, we can stamp out this corruption from the top level up down to power plant level. We can stamp out every single tender that went wrong. If you remember, Eskom had 19 billion rand of irregular expenditure last year. That's absurd. We need serious action here. So we're trying our best to stand up from our side, to answer the call and to get this utility back online. But we need the president to say we're coming on and justice will be served to the people who've plunged this country into dark.
Of course, you are also aware that the World Bank has actually told Eskom that it believes there are tens of thousands of people more than they should actually have.
Yes. So the staffing numbers and the skill shortage is a weird sort of conundrum, because you've got apparently way too much staff, but you've still got a skill shortage. So that's why, in addition to the Commission of Inquiry, we're saying we need a proper skills audit of Eskom. We need to make sure that the people who are there are able to do the job, because the only logical conclusion would be, if we have lots of staff but we can't do the job, then there's a lot of people who need skills in order to do this job. So we're calling for a complete skills audit on Eskom. Make sure that each job and position is matched to somebody who can do this job. If we're looking at outcomes-based, it's quite simple. That can't happen, because we have load shedding. We had load shedding stage 4, so somebody's not up to the task. Skills audit, and then please, Mr. President, get this commission going. No, don't let it go with the Zondo Commission and be one of several things. We need something specifically for Eskom, because Eskom is the one utility that can sink this country if it implodes. And we cannot allow that to happen. As South Africans, it's obviously in all of our benefit for this country, for Eskom to keep the lights on, for small business, for poor people, for rich people, for everyone. When the lights go out, then the ship goes down, all of us go down with it.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming through. Solidarity's Head of Research, Connie Mulder.